This is a sorrowful time for law enforcement and definitely the community of Elwood. It's always a sad moment when an officer sacrifices his life in the duty of service to the community.
Now that community mourns. Today, prosecutors are set to file murder charges against the man accused of killing an Elwood police officer.
Indiana State Police say 24-year-old Noah Chavanez died after being shot early yesterday morning after pulling a vehicle over in Madison County. News 8's Hannah Mordeau has been following developments since the news broke yesterday. And Hannah, we're learning new information about this officer and the suspect.
We are within the last few minutes. Officer Noah Chavanez had only been with the Elwood Police Department for about 11 months. He grew up here in Fishers, right near Indianapolis. At 24 years old, he was a military veteran and served in the Army for 5 years before becoming an officer. I just got a hold of these old court documents, though, about the suspect. Police say 42-year-old Carl Boards II from Anderson is under arrest for this crime and has been in trouble before for shooting at police. These court documents in my hands say in 2006, Boards ran from police and shot at officers here in Indianapolis. He was originally charged with attempted murder back then and was instead convicted of criminal recklessness. According to the Department of Corrections, in 2007, Boards was also convicted with resisting law enforcement, having drugs, unlawfully having a gun, and having a firearm near a school. In 2001, he served time for several charges, including unlawfully having a gun and battery. Officials, they say this officer's death was a senseless act of violence.
Noah proudly wore the Elwood Police Department uniform. Serving the citizens of Elwood, he was part of our city family. A senseless act of violence robbed this young man of the life and career that he had ahead of him.
I mean, when is it going to stop? I wish I had the answer. This young man served this country for 5 years and chose to come back and serve a local community. And these senseless acts of violence perpetuate our society, and none of us understand why.
Boards is now in custody in Hamilton County. This all started early Sunday at around 2 in the morning in Elwood and ended in Fishers on I-69. State police say Officer Chavanez pulled Boards over for a traffic stop near State Road 37 and County Road 1100 North in Madison County. Troopers say Boards then got out of his car and fired multiple rounds, hitting Officer Chavanez at least once. Then Boards got back in the car and took off. Fellow officers in Madison County and deputies found Chavanez. He was taken to a local hospital, then flown to Indianapolis to a hospital where he died. At around 2:30, the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department spotted Boards' car. Deputies chased him on State Road 37 toward I-69. Then Fishers police eventually stopped Boards on I-69 southbound near 106th Street and took him into custody. Now, the Madison County prosecutor says they plan to charge Boards with several crimes today, including murder and being a habitual offender. Back to you, Drew.
Okay, Hannah, thank you. The president of the Fraternal Order of Police says the union activated its critical incident team that sends aid from across the state to the Elwood Police Department and family members of Officer Chavanez. The FOP shared this video on social media. You can see people lining the street in a salute as a red hearse carried the officer's body from Indianapolis back home to Madison County. Bill Bartlow and his son made the decision to pay their respects.
That could have been my brother. And this person here now has lost his life. But it's just the fact of it is, this world's going crazy.
An officer will now remain by the fallen officer's side until he is laid to rest.
Governor Holcomb also released a statement following the death. It says, in part, echoing some of the thoughts of others. Not only did he choose to serve his fellow Americans for 5 years in the United States Army, he returned to Indiana to rededicate himself to serving and protecting others as a police officer for the Elwood Police Department. Holcomb continues, our hearts go out to Officer Chavanez's loved ones and his fellow officers. Janet and I send our condolences to all who are suffering from this senseless tragedy.